Okay, so we're now on to maps and scale drawing, so let's get into it. So you can see, right, you've got all these images below, and these are representing things much larger or smaller than the images themselves. So we've got three different examples here. You've got the first one, you've got a cell. Now, of course, in real life, a cell is absolutely tiny, okay? And to sort of analyze a cell and to learn about a cell, if you were to look at it at the actual size of a cell, you couldn't see what was going on because to the naked eye, you can't see what a cell is. But you can use it using a representation of it, okay? And of course, this is a much larger representation of the cell than real life, but it's useful because you can see exactly what goes on here. And important about everything here is all of these images are to scale. So if we look at this cell here, you can see that let's look at this sort of part here, which is I can't even say that, so use a different word, the nucleus of the cell here. In real life, compared to the mitochondria, these are in the correct proportions, right? The nucleus is this size compared to the mitochondria, okay? It is to scale. The proportions are correct, and that's really, really important. Similarly, right, this is a big version showing what a cell looks like, and then you've got maps, okay? Of course, in real life, places like London and Iceland, these are enormous places, and to show it onto a map, you've got to scale things down so it's a much smaller than the image itself. So you can show the whole of London on something like this, okay? Because you're scaling down that size. But really important, these images are to scale, and that's very important. And all maps and scale diagrams, they should have a key. And there's sort of three common ways that you can find keys. That we'll be looking at anyway. The first one is something like this. They might just tell you that 1 centimeter is equal to 10 kilometers, for example. So 1 centimeter on this map is equivalent to 10 kilometers in real life. Okay, so you could label it something like this. You could say that on the map, okay, if you were to measure a distance, you've got the map size compared to the real life size, okay? And the way that I like to do this is to put it into a ratio format. So we can go and say that you've got 1 centimeter is 10 kilometers. I've just put it into a ratio format because then let's just say, for example, you measured from Croydon here and you measured to London, let's go Croydon to Enfield, for example. If you measured that distance with a ruler, okay, which we're going to be looking at later, let's just say you measured that to be 4 centimeters, okay, you can upscale really easily, and it's really useful to have the first number being 1. It's called the unitary method, and you can upscale really easily because if that was 4 centimeters, so you've got 4 cm, okay, then well, to get from 1 to 4, you're timesing by 4. You can do the same with 10 times by 4 and get you to 40 kilometers. Okay, I've made that length up, so it's probably not going to be true at all. But if that was 4 centimeters, which it wouldn't be, then you would say between Enfield and Croydon in real life would be 40 kilometers. So it's nice. If you get the first number to be 1, you can just upscale really nice and easily. Now, a second kind of ratio, you might be given a map like this, and you might just be given this 1 to 500. And it is saying anything on the map is, so this map is 500 times smaller than it is in real life. And you can see there's no units given here, but it's just saying that in real life, it's 500 times bigger than what you can see on the map. So you can put in your own units here, and it could be useful to put something like this, that 1 centimeter to 500 centimeters. So I've just put it into a ratio and I put it into centimeters because you could use whatever unit, but centimeters is useful because when you use a rulers, we measure things in centimeters using a ruler, and that's nice to use. And then from there, okay, so again, you've got the map distance up here to the actual or the real life distance over here. So the real life distance. So 1 centimeter on the map is 500 centimeters in real life, but then what you could do is you could change this centimeter unit into meters because 500 centimeters is the same thing as 5 meters. And that's useful because you might go measure between the Olympic Village and the Olympic Stadium, for example. You might go measure that to be, using a ruler, that might be something like 6 centimeters. So you could then go and say, well, 6 centimeters, okay, you're timesing here by 6 times 5 by 6, you're going to get 30 meters. Now, that's not going to be correct. Again, I've just made that length up. But then you would be saying the Olympic Village to the Olympic Stadium is they're 30 meters apart in real life, which it won't be. That's way too small, but it's just an example of how this would work. Okay, and the last kind of way you could see it is they might say that a particular section of the map, so from here to here, is 100 kilometers. Okay, and you could go and measure that using a ruler. Let's just say you did that and you measured this distance here to be 3.2 centimeters using a ruler. You're saying, well, this length of the map is 100 kilometers in real life. So again, you've got a ratio here. You've got the map distance to the real life distance is shown up there. And what is really useful is to get your ratio into a unit, a one hit. So what they've done here is to get from 3.2 to 1, they've divided by 3.2 because 3.2 divided by 3.2 gives you 1. You can go and do the same thing over here. Divide 100 by 3.2. 100 divided by 3.2 gives you 31.25. So 1 centimeter on the map is 31.25 kilometers in actual life. So if you wanted to go and say that between, I don't know, this place over here, which I can't even read, and this place over here, if you measured that to be, I don't know, let's just say 10 centimeters, for example, which I've made this up, but just to show you, well, to get from 1 centimeter to 10 centimeters is really easy because you could just go and times now up by 10. You're timesing through by 10, do the same thing over here, times through by 10. 31.25 times by 10 would give you 312.5 kilometers. So you'd be saying that between these two places here, they are 312.5 kilometers apart. So if and to get from 1 to 10 is really easy. To get from 3.2 to 10 isn't so easy. So to get this first number to become a 1 is really useful. Okay, so hopefully that's given you a bit of an idea just into some keys that you might see on some map diagrams. And then we can get on to the next video, which is actually looking at doing this in practice using rulers and all that kind of stuff. Okay, thank you for watching.